Welcome to Day 45 on the Trail. We have 5 readings for today from Luke 24, verses 36 through 53, Exodus 17, verses 1 through 16, the 54th Psalm, Job 20, verse 1 through 21:34, and Sirach chapter 49, verses 1 through 16. For our reading in Exodus today, we actually begin in the New Testament, specifically the Gospel of Matthew. In Matthew chapter 4, Jesus has been led into the wilderness to be tempted by Satan. Beginning in verse 5, we find the second of 3 temptations. It reads, "Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, 'If, or since, you are the Son of God, throw yourself down. For it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone.'" As with the other temptations, Jesus connects his response to the book of Deuteronomy. And here, in this second temptation, Jesus responds, "It is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." This statement is connected to Deuteronomy 16, verse 16, which reads, "Do not put the Lord your God to the test, as you tested him at Massah." Now, this leads us to another question. What happened at Massah? To answer that question, we have to go back to Exodus. In Exodus 17, from our reading today, we hear the third complaint of the people of Israel. Once again, they are lacking water, but this time, their complaint has escalated. When the Israelites had first experienced a lack of water, 3 days had passed since crossing the Red Sea. They found water at a place called Marah, but that water was bitter. Therefore, they complained to Moses. This time, at Massah, they complained to Moses again, but something is different. Look at Exodus 17, verse 7. He called the place Massah and Meribah, because the Israelites quarreled and tested the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" This time, they are not simply asking for water from God. Instead, they are asking, "Where is God? Is God truly with us?" There is a big difference between trusting God and making ultimatums of God. The story of Exodus 17 asks, do we trust God, or are we attempting to test God? Are we telling God to prove that He is with us, or that He cares for us? It is this story that informs the background for the second temptation of Jesus. And this is a general principle when exploring the Bible. We should take the time to follow the connections made between different stories. Many times, when a story from history is mentioned or referenced, knowing the context and background of that earlier story helps inform the one you are reading and will often help better understand the central point that is being made. Turning now to our reading from the Gospel of Luke. I would like to focus on Luke 24, verse 41, which reads, "While in their joy, they were disbelieving and still wondering. He said to them, 'Have you anything here to eat?'" After the resurrection, the disciples saw Jesus. They touched him. So in this critical moment, I do not believe the disciples doubted that Jesus was physically among them. Instead, we might call this an instance of cognitive dissonance. How could Jesus be standing in front of them after having been crucified a few days earlier? Yes, they had seen someone rise from the dead. They had witnessed Lazarus walk out of the tomb in Bethany. But this was something entirely different. This moment changed everything. This moment changed history itself. So they struggled with what they were witnessing. And I am quite sure that we would not fare much better. In this passage, we find a foundational truth that is repeated throughout the New Testament, a truth that might be very meaningful to each of us as we journey with Christ. Doubt is not the enemy. Yes, doubt can cause some sleepless nights and even put a strain on our relationships. However, doubt is not a sign of weakness or something that we should try to avoid. Instead, when doubt arises, it is our response to that doubt which will reveal the strength of our character. And we are not alone when we face seasons of doubt. Historically, even the very best of us struggled with doubt. Throughout the pages of the Bible, we find countless examples of individuals who did not run from doubt or hide their moments of uncertainty from those around them. Instead, as we see in this story recorded in Luke's Gospel, the disciples had the courage to tell future generations about their doubt. After all, we are reading about their experiences with doubt 2,000 years later. Also, consider the time when John the Baptist was facing a death sentence while shackled in Herod's prison. In the darkness of his prison cell, John had some doubts about Jesus. He wondered if Jesus was the one he was waiting for, or if he should be expecting someone else. So what did John the Baptist do? Well, he did something about his doubt. He sent his friends to ask Jesus directly if he was really the one they were expecting. John did not hide from his doubts. He confronted them head on. What was happening to John did not square with his expectations, so he asked Jesus about it. John's circumstances, the information he had, the data he had observed, all contributed to his doubt. So John leaned on someone in whose integrity he trusted. John did not leave, hide, or ignore his doubt. He confronted it, and he asked Jesus about it directly. Now for a moment, consider the situation in reverse. Where would those who are facing seasons of uncertainty or doubt around us turn for help? Yes, all of us can and should turn to the living Christ. But what about us? Are you and I the kind of people that they would turn to for help? Is our integrity in the small things, the daily things, strong enough to give them strength and confidence to trust us in their moments of doubt? May we live our lives in such a way that those who know us never doubt us. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, stay on the trail.